Do you feel like you have no free time because you spend all of your day on one-on-one client calls? Listen, I was in the exact same shoes as you. I was taking calls 6 to 8 hours per day, 6 days a week, until I found a way to free up all my time and still make over 50K per month consistently. So in this video, I'll show you how to productize your career coaching business that grows without adding more one-on-one client calls to your calendar. So let's dive in. So let me start with some proof on why my system works. So for some context, I, in 2023, ran a coaching company, and the whole model was pretty messed up because I was working 60 to 80 hours per week and I was only making 3 to 4K per month. And the reason I was making such less money is because I charged very less, but also I only charged on success. So the whole model was pay when you get hired. And I was just basically getting good at the skill of getting people jobs. That was my offer. 2024, then I learned how to sell. I built a school community. I got mentored by a lot of coaches. And then I started scaling fast, right? I then competed in a school games competition, this global business competition hosted by Alex Ramozzi. I won it, got to meet him in Las Vegas. And then I actually scaled to 100K months after getting mentored by him. And his advice was to focus on the who, not the how. So mostly delegation. But it was honestly a disaster because I was drowning in one-on-one calls. I was either doing sales or I was doing coaching. Even though I had coaches, I still had to coach some students who wanted to get coached by me, or I was doing a lot of the marketing work, right? So I wouldn't recommend 100K months with super stressful 60-hour weeks. Wasn't worth it. So at the end of the year in 2024, I made a decision to then build a business that runs completely without me because I wanted to make money while I sleep, right? I didn't want to be deep in one-on-one calls. I really hated them, honestly. So I read this book called Built to Sell, and I did loads of research, and I found that, wow, interesting. Any service-based business could be productized where the service is delivered without my time or another coach's time, right? Because like you can say you can hire coaches and stuff, but managing them is pain in the ass. And you've probably hired coaches and, it still work, right? So I wanted to like have delivery completely automated. So what I did then in 2025 is I basically converted all of my coaching, one-on-one coaching elements into basically tools, videos, and systems that would rely on not me and not another human. And that's how I went from 40, 60 hour weeks in 2024 to now 5 hours per week. Overall, I make less money, but I make way more per hour. So right now I'm probably averaging $1,500 to $2,000 per hour of work I do, which is absolutely insane, right? And yes, I am working more than 5 hours per week, but most of my hours are on the new business, which is basically helping other entrepreneurs systemize their business, right? But when it comes to my current business, the UK Job Institute, it's only 5 hours per week, right? Because I've productized everything. So now some income proof. So this was yesterday, 66.1K MRR, 888 members. We have a 13.5% conversion because we close with the DMs. I'll get more into that in the video. But actually, why am I showing you yesterday? Let me show you our MRR today. So, we have 888 members. The MRR went down and the members are the same. It's because we're closing at a lower rate, Black Friday rate. But yeah, we're at just about 66K MRR, right? So that's pretty much it. So today, I'll share how I picked one client plus one promise, how I created a signature framework for the client and ideal promise, then how I pre-sold my product before even building it. Then number 4, I'll show you how I productize my delivery after selling a product that didn't even exist. And then number 5, then how I built a repeatable sales engine that to this day, every day for the past 11 months, brings me $1,000 to $1,500 in new MRR consistently every single day without fail. And now, listen, I've actually paid over $70,000 in mentorship to learn this stuff, and I'm giving it away to you for free. All you have to do is not click off, don't be lazy, and watch till the end. And I've gone mentorship by probably over 10 mentors. I've paid for 1 hour calls. I've paid for programs. But the most notable ones right now I have here on the screen are Alex Ramozzi, the guy who sold over $100 million in a weekend through his book launch. Tom Bilyeu, who sold his company Quest Nutrition for $1 billion. I'm also going to his place in Los Angeles in 2 weeks. And then Chris Donnelly, who sold a business for $30 million, I think, or so at the age of 31. And he's like quite big in the UK. So everything I've learned from these guys, I'm distilling into this video on how to productize your service business. So let's start with what I firstly did, which is I picked one ideal client and I offered one promise. So first thing I did to do that is I picked my best fit client, which is international students in the UK. I was targeting them already for the past 2 years, so that was pretty easy. Second thing I did was I then defined the result they really wanted, right? So the result I defined was 30K plus UK jobs in less than 90 days. So before this in 2024, the result I was targeting was UK jobs in less than 90 days, which is a bit broad because now I'm more specific, which is 30K plus jobs, because I realized that 80% of my market I was targeting wanted 30K plus jobs. So that's what I went for. I was very specific. The final thing I did was I just connected this and this, and I put it into a promise statement, which basically is I help international students land 30K plus UK jobs in less than 90 days. Now, one thing I want to show you as well in terms of like how I really defined the ideal client is since I realized that in 2023 and 2024, 80% of the people I sold to were Indian heritage in the UK. 10% were probably Pakistani, and then maybe 5% were Bengali from Bangladesh, and then 5% were other. So I just put their flags in my LinkedIn bio. right? This is how I hyper targeted on not just international students, but international students from India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, and also targeting a specific salary. This is how I basically beat and I basically got rid of all of the competition because I was hyper specific on who I was looking to serve and also what exact outcome I was promising them. That was super duper powerful, right? That's number one. Now, the second thing is then I created my signature framework, right? And this is what you're going to do. So the reason why I needed a framework was because I would get messages, right, for people who wanted to join my one-on-one coaching programs, and they would always ask, how does it work? What's the process? And me and my team would always have to come up with something on the fly. And even though we had a script, we had to tweak the script every time, and we always had a different answer depending on the responses, which was not great. And the key thing I understood from reading the Built to Sell book was that you never ever want to customize anything in your business to one client. And like the whole book's premise was that never ever use the word client, because client assumes a bespoke tailored service. And if you want a productized business that runs without you, you need to have a standardized delivery mechanism for every customer that comes in. So I realized that anything that we have to do on the fly, that have to figure out a new response, that is a good indication that we don't have a clear framework, that we just a copy paste framework that when someone asks us, how does it work? We send it to them, right? That was the big why. If we're having to come up with responses, then we need a framework, right? Now, the way I name my framework is super simple, right? I've spent like probably a few days on it, and we came up with the product first. So me and my team, Emma and Mohammed, we realized that we wanted a name that would appeal to our market. So they love the word institute because IIT is a big name in India, Institute of Technology. So we wanted the word institute in it. So we first started with the product, right? And you need to understand as well, right? Product comes kind of first and the framework is inside of it. So we spent a lot of time on the name of the product, the UK Job Institute, but we couldn't come up with a framework name, right? We had done a 90-day UK job blueprint before, which did well. We wanted a new framework, right? Because we're entering the new year. And that's what you want to do as well. You want a new framework. So I literally then jumped on a call with my mentor, and we just thought, look, it doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be simple. So we literally named the framework a 4-step system. And then in my sales video, I just say, this is the 4-step system that we follow to get you a job inside the UK Job Institute. So the name doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be simple. You can call it a 3-step system. You can call it a 2-step system. It doesn't matter. It just has to be simple. So that's how I named my framework. Now, listen, I named the framework, but I didn't actually build it, right? So what I want to share here is why I didn't build the framework first. So just for some context, I've been mentored by a lot of people. And the one key thing I've seen from pretty much every successful entrepreneur is I've asked them, what's the best piece of advice you could give me? I'm currently at, 20K a month, 30K a month. All of them, literally like all of them said one thing. And that one thing was, do not build before you sell. Sell first, then build. And that's the classic mistake pretty much every entry-level entrepreneur makes, is they try and build a product, build a service before they validate demand. So all I did, if you look at it in December before I started the new year, is I just named the product, which is the UK Job Institute, and I named the framework, 4-step system. That's it. I didn't know how I deliver on it. I had a rough sketch. I didn't build the videos, the templates, the resources, none of that. I just built the packaging around it. That's all I did. Now, this brings me on to the next thing I did was I pre-sold the product, which is UK Job Institute, right? And I sold it without having anything built, right? And the way I actually pre-sold it is I marketed it on LinkedIn and Instagram. So I basically marketed a completely free 3-day masterclass on how to land a UK job. And as you can see, I'm targeting international students here. Boom. And I added like a super big CTA here on the picture image, which is comment job for a free invite. Got hundreds and hundreds of comments on LinkedIn, and then probably thousands on Instagram. We did many, many reels for like from the 1st of January till like the 7th of January, 8th of January when the masterclass we hosted, right? And then what we did was I delivered 3 days of free value. And at the end of each day, then pitched them the UK Job Institute on a free trial. It was completely free. Join for 7 days. No obligation. You can leave if you didn't like it, right? That was the strategy, right? So I had to give value first, right? And the way I got loads of people because you're wondering how do you get all of these people onto your masterclass? Well, I got 2,400 signups, right? And the way I did that was in every piece of email. So we marketed through LinkedIn, Instagram, and email. We'd always add, spots are closing soon. We only have a few spots left. There's a deadline, 9 p.m. For the spots. And we'd also close the submissions as well, and then we'd reopen them. So we added a lot of scarcity, so limited spots left, and a lot of urgency, so 9 p.m. deadline, right? And then we basically delivered 3 days of value. So I delivered like everything I knew about getting people a job. There's like over like 500 slides. And at the end of each slide, each presentation, I'd pitch and I'd say, look, I have a special gift for those who stick till the end. And the special gift basically was 7 days of a free trial of this new system that I've built. And bear in mind, I hadn't built the system then. I was just getting everyone into the program and then building it with them, right? And I would also ask them before I pitched, I'd say, do I have the permission to show you what I've created for you? And it's a special gift. And then once they'd say yes, I'd get their buy-in, then I would pitch. I would literally do like a full 6-7 minute VSL, like video sales letter is what they call it, on a live webinar Zoom call, right? So basically, I had 2,400 signups. and had 583 people that then joined the call. And then 112 of those people on the first day joined in 5 minutes because I had a 5-minute timer on the screen as well. And it was a $69 product. Obviously, 112 members joined on the trial. And I remember, I think 25, 26 then converted after the 7-day trial, right? So if you want to see that recording, comment pitch below, and I'm happy to send it over. And you can just copy what I did there. I think I have a video here of actually people joining the first day during the 5-minute timer. I'm going to play that now. We're recording this just to show the demand is insane. Jesus Christ. That is a lot. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Okay, how many have you got? I think we need to stop. I think we can't have more than... It's honestly so crazy because I remember when we were launching the UK Job Institute, before that we were doing 100K months, but super stressful delivery. I was super burnt out. I realized, I said to my team, like, as long as we get to break even in 6 months, we're good, right? And we went from 0 to 50K per month by the end of March. So within like 10 weeks, we had 50K per month and we were mega profitable, which is absolutely insane. And I was like so shocked. Like I was worried that no one would join. 112 people joined just because I gave a shit ton of value live on the call. I can even maybe show you the slides. Yeah, here's day 1 of the masterclass. As you can see, I had a clear agenda here of the 3 days, my story, achievements, which jobs to target, loads of stuff, like case studies here, how to build your CV, how to build your LinkedIn profile, cover letter. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I put in there. And I gave all of that for free, and then people just trusted me. So that's pretty much it. Now, moving on to why this works, right? The reason why it works is pretty simple. When you give away free value, when people like can get so much information and knowledge, actionable knowledge from like free content, it builds a lot of trust. They feel indebted to you when they sit down and they consume hours and hours of your educational content. And another thing as well is when I was planning how to launch it, it was a no-brainer to launch it through a webinar live because, I mean, Hormoji made it super clear that if you want the highest conversions, it has to be live events, either Zoom or in person. And I just knew the most scalable way to get the highest conversions, the fastest, had to be live webinars, right? And they convert much higher than regular content. Because listen, when you're watching someone live, your attention span is much higher. And because it's happening in real time, it's a completely different feel. So the more you have their attention, the more they watch your stuff, the more they build trust. And the more they trust you, the more they buy. So if you want to sell, especially low ticket, like webinar is the way to go. Now, moving on to step-by-step breakdown. I mean, very simply, I announced a live 3-day masterclass. I then hosted the 3-day live sessions on Zoom where I taught my framework. So basically how I get people jobs, like from CV to cover letter to LinkedIn profile to applying, following up, preparing for interviews, negotiating visa. I just gave all of that away in a 3-day course for free. And at the end of each session, I just pitched my product. First day we launched it, we got them in for a free trial. Second day, free trial. Third day, we just asked them to pay up front. And then third day as well, I think we got 30 to 40 people that paid live, no trial, but they paid $69, right? We gave them bonuses, money back guarantee, but it was absolutely insane. Okay, now that I got around 112 people on a trial and then 30 to 40 people who actually paid, so 150 people into this new product that didn't even exist that I pre-sold, then I started actually productizing the delivery. Then I actually started with my team, Ahmed and Mohammed, started building the looms, building the templates, resources. That's when we started productizing the delivery, right? So let me actually start with some context on why you need to productize delivery. So firstly, look, if every one-on-one client call that you host is custom and there's a different agenda for every call, you have to figure out on the fly, you are going to burn out because what's going to happen is you're not going to get consistent results. And when you work really hard and you don't get your clients results and you don't make progress for your clients, you are going to start losing conviction. And then it won't even be that you're working a lot. It's just that you will lose the actual joy from work and you start hating it. So it's super important that you never ever have a very custom call for every client. Second thing is, look, if every client needs something different, you need to do prep work for it. I remember my students wanted different CVs, different cover letters, and I'd be like, oh no, I need to do some research on keywords. And that was such a pain, right? And it slowed me down because 5 hours of calls meant like 2 hours of prep, and that was 7 hours of work, and 7 hours of 5 hours of calls, 2 hours of prep, and then also 1 hour of admin and other stuff. Oof, I'd be destroyed. So that's why you need to prioritize delivery. Second reason. Third reason also, basic. Listen, you cannot scale if delivery depends on one-on-one calls with you. And even if you hire coaches, you can scale, but it really depends on the business you want. If you want a business that generates tens of thousands, 50K a month plus, where you work only a few hours a week, it has to be productized. It cannot be any element of one-on-one calls, even if you hire coaches, right? Obviously, you can argue that you can get great coaches and they do all the work. There's always going to be bullshit. There's always going to be stuff that pops up. So it's not going to be a real 5 hours per week. You're still going to be passively working and worry about stuff, right? So now let's talk about how to productize your delivery. And I'm just going to talk about what I did, right? So when I was doing one-on-one coaching, I had different sets of calls. So I had CV writing calls, cover letter writing calls, LinkedIn profile calls, interview prep calls, check-in calls, / accountability calls. And basically all I did on the calls, I had rough frameworks for it. I just converted them into templates, type form, or Loom videos. That's pretty much it. And you can use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT pretty heavily to help me build those looms and templates. And like, that's the first thing I did. I think that's like 28% of it is just replacing everything you see on a call with a loom. That's pretty much it. The second thing is like when people joined the UK Job Institute back then, I don't say it now because I frame it differently, but I was like super clear on what was included and what wasn't included. So in the classroom, if you click on start here, over here, I used to say in the welcome module, I used to say here that we do not offer one-on-one coaching calls. That would turn off some people because they still wanted one-on-one support. So now we just say unlimited DM access. But if you don't want to even open up your DMs, you can just be clear and you can say we don't offer one-on-one calls if you're selling, a productized delivery where it's only like DM support and group calls. So that's what we did. We're super, super clear. And then another thing that we have done is now every client, I mean, I say client because I know all of you guys have clients, but we just call them students. But every student goes through the same process. Literally everyone goes through, they watch the welcome video, they get their bonuses, they join the first onboarding call, which is group, by the way, not one-on-one. Then the find your sweet spot used to be a one-on-one call. Now they just literally fill out this type form and all the questions we asked on the call are now on the type form, literally. And then when it comes to the submissions, we don't even review them ourselves. We get AI to review their whole submission and their CV and then give them a sweet spot. And then I have one operations manager who just reviews it and sends it off. So it's literally hands off for me. And then create your CV, optimize your LinkedIn profile. All of these used to be live calls and now they're literally like a Loom video with an action step for them to follow a checklist. That's pretty much it. And pretty much every client moves through the set system, same system, no one-on-one calls. If they have any questions, they either DM me or they join a Q&A. That is pretty much it. So that's basically what we did. You've probably heard this stuff before, but like, I think it's more so about the beliefs. Like you need to understand that like you can, because you're worried that, oh, if I like send them videos, they won't get results. Yes, they will get results. If you communicate what you would communicate in a call in a very structured, simple way on a Loom video, and you give them a very good checklist, the good clients will get results. And the ones who won't get results, they probably wouldn't have gotten results on one-on-one calls anyways. So we're like, literally like today, if I open up my LinkedIn, I know you have a limiting belief that they won't get results. Let me show you right now on LinkedIn. So I'm on LinkedIn. This is a recent post I made. This guy, he joined the UK Job Institute, no one-on-one call with me. I don't even remember seeing him on a Q&A. Already 18 people have commented and he left this comment here. Thanks to the whole team. And he's so, so happy. I want to take a moment to separately thank you. And he got a job, right? We posted his story. And also to get his testimonial, we have a system. We send them a form, they fill out a form with a picture, and we then post their picture and I'm not jumping on a call to write their story down. So that's pretty much it. Like you will get clients results as long as your systems are very clear and you've like put all of your effort into building clear systems, because once you've done that, that's done once and it exists forever, right? So it's much more high leverage than just trying to perfect the one-on-one call system. Next, now building a repeatable sales engine. Once you have picked the ideal client, you've created your signature framework, you've pre-sold a product that doesn't exist, then you've productized the delivery that you promised. Now you have to build a repeatable sales engine. You could do webinars every week. I didn't want to do webinars every week because it would just destroy me. So I just built a repeatable sales engine selling through the DMs, because as you know, my product is a $79 product. It's a community subscription, $67 now for Black Friday, and normally $79. And basically now we just sell through the DMs, right? So our process is super simple. It's content to DM to cash. I can show you an example here. This post, this is content. They comment access below. We send them CV or whatever. Then we DM them. And I have 2 DM closers, one on Instagram, one on LinkedIn. Basically just DMing them. That's pretty much it. So the DM, we send them a freebie. We ask them about their biggest struggle, relate with them. This is all a script, by the way. And we show them it's possible, send them, we pitch them the product. Hey, this is our product that we're selling. And they reply done. And then we send them the link, they join. That is how simple it is, right? So it's content to DM to cash. And then every day, as you can see, these DM closers, 7 closes, 8 closes, 11 closes, 7 closes. For these are $79 each, right? So as you can see, yesterday we made 18 into $67. So Black Friday price, 18 into $67. That's new MRR, $1,200 in new MRR. In terms of LTV, we make 2.5x per customer. So that's close to $3,000 or so, right? In one day. We've been doing this consistently for almost 11 months now, almost a year. So yeah, that's pretty much our system there. And the simple sales engine, as I said, we don't do one-on-one calls. We sell entirely through DMs, and we didn't even build the scripts from scratch. We just took our old appointment setting script that we used to book calls, and we turned it into a DM closing script. Like all their objections and stuff that we would have handled on calls, we now handle over the DMs. That's simple. And the reason why it works is we've got a faster buying process. There's zero friction, because look, if they don't want to buy, we haven't lost time. We're speaking to hundreds of leads, right? As I say here, you can speak to hundreds of leads simultaneously if you're selling through the DMs. And it works perfectly for low ticket, because for $79, they just need to watch a video, and since it's a low amount, they can join. And to make it risk-free as well, we offer them a 7-day money-back guarantee, and we get less than 3% refund requests, 1-2%. Last time we checked, it's October or something. I think it was 2-point-something%, so really low. And it's perfect for low-ticket productized offers. So if you have a low ticket, you want to sell through the DMs, you're not doing calls for anything under $3,000, to be honest, or $2,000. So that's why it works, right? That's pretty much the video. And look, I am super passionate about helping entrepreneurs and just creating business videos, because I'm tired of getting people jobs. I'm offering now free business audits, right? So if you want a free business audit, you can get it below. And if I cannot show you how to make an extra 5K in the next 30 days, I will personally send you a $100 Amazon gift card for wasting your time. That's how confident I am in giving you advice that makes you more money and saves you time. The link should be below. Book a free business audit and I'll see you on it.